We're going to be reviewing the Schwarzbier Black Lager, and I can tell you already I'm so excited about this beer. So excited. I've had a few now, and oh my god, this beer is delicious. One thing I can tell you from the get-go is that the carbonation in this is probably a little bit higher than what I would like for this style of beer. But it's not too bad. So, as you can see, the color of the beer is fairly black. It's got some highlights, you know, like red, mahogany kind of highlights if you kind of like place it towards the light. But other than that, I mean, the beer is pretty dark. And I don't know if you remember or if you even saw the video when I brewed this beer. I actually just sprinkled the dark malts towards the end of the mash so that I can get the color of the beer without adding too much of that roasty flavor from it. So that's how I got the color of the beer, and I think it worked out really great. So for appearance, I think I nailed down the color, and I'm really happy with the results. You can see the head. I mean, it's so nice. I mean, it's about just under half an inch, I would say. The bubbles are pretty small. Go ahead and do a close-up on this one. You can see that a little bit better there. So nice, so nice. I just love the way that the head forms on this beer. So, like I said, as far as appearance goes, I think it's right on with the style, exactly what I was looking for. Now the aroma, this is one of the things I like about lager. You know, a lot of people don't like to get like that sulfury smell. You know, that smell that's it's like the lager yeast character, I guess, is what I'm looking for. And with this one, it's so subtle that it gives you enough where you're like, ooh yeah, like this is a lager beer, right? But it's so subtle that I don't think it would bother anyone that's not into it. But I really wouldn't even care about that. But I think I like that character a lot. So I think that yeasty character really shows up more than anything else. There's a little bit of the roastiness, but again, like I said, I used a very little dark malt, so I wasn't expecting a lot of aroma from that malt. So mostly the yeast character is what comes out, and that's more or less what I think makes this beer a really good beer. It's just like a dark colored lager, if you will. Man, the flavor is just, the mouthfeel on it is it's a very dry beer. Really cleans out your palate. And what I see is this, the roast flavor of the malt is a very subtle flavor, where it's one of those things where less is more kind of thing, where it's enough to give you the flavor without overwhelming your palate. And for this beer, the only thing that I think maybe somewhere where I would improve on the beer is I may want to give it just a slightly more, I would want to get a little bit more body into the beer. Not a whole lot, just slightly more. I mean, it's almost like a perfectly balanced beer. The taste is very smooth. It's a very dry, and I don't know, it's something about this dark lager. I kind of feel like it needs to have a little bit more body, though the body itself is not bad. It's not like watery or anything like that by any means. I'm just thinking of, what exactly am I looking for on a beer. So I think I may want to try to either add a little bit of a higher protein malt, or perhaps even add a little bit of wheat malt. I don't know. Add something to add a little bit of protein to it, to maybe add a little bit more body, but not too much. I'm talking about just slightly. I'm talking about a minute little detail. I think the beer as is amazing. And I got to tell you that I actually brewed this beer for a special occasion. I'm going to be giving away this beer as a gift. And I can tell you, because I've actually been drinking a few of these beers. I gotta watch out, because I gotta save up enough bottles to give, because I got a few people that I'm gonna give this beer to. But when I first tried this beer, I was like, oh my god, this is one of my favorite beers that I've brewed, and that's about as far as I go. I'll put this beer in my top 3 beers. And I think one of the things that made this beer come out better, or not necessarily better, but I would say it came out closer to what I had in mind, closer to what I believe the beer should be like. I believe it was that I actually ended up croisoning this beer. I ended up adding about a 2-liter starter, and that was about, I want to say, I gotta look at my notes, but I want to say it was about 7 days into fermentation. I want to say it was about 7 days into fermentation. I went ahead and added a 2-liter starter, and it was a highly fermenting beer, same exact style. That's how I made the starter, same exact beer, just added a little bit more of that. So it went to like a double fermentation. That really cleaned up all the esters and diacetyl. I mean, there's really no diacetyl in here. Yeah, I can't really taste any diacetyl in the beer. So I think that really helped clean out the beer, and I think it helped mellow out the sulfur character of the lager yeast.